Dogs are often referred to as man's best friend, but they are still wild animals who use their teeth to defend themselves. And today's Injuries Are Personal with Reynolds Law. Attorney Carl Reynolds is here to talk about some of the legal issues surrounding dog bite cases. Great to see you.
Great to see you, Stephanie.
Sometimes it's so hard to think about, right? I mean, many of us are huge dog lovers.
Sure,
and
I have
you
a
think,
dog.
gosh, how could this happen? But unfortunately, it happens, and it happens to a very severe extent in some cases.
Oh, yeah. I mean, some even ending in death, right?
Yes, I was just reading about the Pam Tate, I believe the last name is, case from the postal worker here. Let's back up a little bit, though, and talk about who is liable in dog bite cases most of the time. Does this always go back to an owner? Yeah,
Florida pretty much has a strict liability state relative to dog ownership or animal ownership in general. If your animal that you own and control attacks someone else and harms them, then you are liable for the harm created. There's some states that will have the free bite rule, as they say, where as long as it's the first time and it's the first documented time, then you're not liable, but Florida doesn't follow that. They're a strict liability state.
And it's interesting that you say that we are already a strict liability state, because right now there is a new bill in the legislature that is calling for more restrictions and liability, if you will, including a dangerous dog registry, I'm a fan of that one, and new punishments for owners whose dogs do bite. So explain why this is important, because I know you deal with a lot of the victims.
We do. And I've got a child under the age of 7 right now whose face was mauled from a dog, and we're having difficulty trying to get recovery for the family because there is no registry for these animals, number one, and there's no requirement that they carry liability coverage for the animal. Most often in homeowners' policies, what we find is, depending on the breed of dog, and most of your offenders tend to be from certain breeds. Not all of these breeds are bad dogs.
Right, we understand that, right.
You know, you've got your pit bulls, and you've got your Rottweilers, your Doberman Pinschers, your Chows. Those sorts of dogs tend to be aggressive in defending home turf, so to speak, and they cause a lot of the injuries. And most homeowners policies have exclusions for those breeds of dogs. So there's no coverage unless you go after the family owner of the dog independently, and a lot of times you can't get blood from a turnip, so to speak, right? So, so this registry now, if the dog has bitten someone or has attacked another animal and killed it, or has chased someone unprovoked, okay, even if they don't actually make contact with that person, the person was able to escape, but
a good scare,
a good scare, and it's been documented, and there's an affidavit to that effect, then they have to have a registry according to this new bill, and they have to carry $100,000 in liability insurance for that dog, which is key, because if that dog then hurts someone after that, if there is no insurance to cover it, that person oftentimes is left uncompensated, and they might have tens and tens of thousands of dollars in medical bills for the hospital, for plastic surgery, etc.
Okay, so the bill would, it's the insurance part I like the most out of that, because it's one thing to register, but that doesn't help a victim. And unless we're putting signs, the dangerous dog lives here out, it doesn't really keep anybody any safer.
And that's required too by the statute.
Which would be nice, I think, too, because if you're going to own a dog that is of the more aggressive variety, I might want to know that as a neighbor, and I could act accordingly with my own dogs and my own family. But it would be nice for there to be a monetary help for bite victims.
Correct, and that's where that insurance comes in. Now, I'd like it to be a little higher, but it's $100,000, so you know, it doesn't go as far as it used to nowadays. And there is supposed to be an annual check where they check in and they provide proof of that insurance, proof of the registry, etc.
Maybe like a rabies thing?
Yeah.
Because as dog owners, we have to have that.
Right. So it would be similar to that with where they have it registered. They have to provide proof of the insurance. And I think we're on the right track. I think the legislature's on the right track. Like you said, you had that mail carrier who was mauled and killed, and then you had, you know, over on the East Coast, there was a child under the age of 8 years old that was killed. So, you know, that's just too many deaths, and we need to. The problem is those dog owners knew of the propensity of the dog, and they failed to take appropriate action, and it wasn't registered, and there wasn't the insurance to cover.
And we do see a lot of it in the headlines. You know, when you do a quick search for dog bites Florida, there's a lot of different cases. I mean,
we love our dogs.
We do. Of course, but we do know accidents happen, and we certainly need to keep people safe. Well, this is just a bill at this point. It's making its way through the legislature. Never know if we'll get that done this time around, but
if it becomes law, it'll probably be in July.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Well, we'll keep an eye out for that. Thank you. For more information about any of your legal questions, you can always find Carl and his team by going to injuriesarepersonal.com. We'll be right back.